One. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 88. I'm here with my man Raul Garcia. How you doing, man? Sorry, this was such a pain to set up.
No worries. I'm doing that. I'm doing good.
Yeah, man. How's life? How's things been?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Self-quarantine, kind of weird times that we're in Taiwan right now, but overall, just can't complain.
Yeah. So, for those of you that don't know, Raul is the founder of Crafted Beer Co. And he just launched his own brewery, right? Flying Fox Brew. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's amazing, man. It's good stuff. It's selling well. I'm drinking quite a bit of it myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about yourself, man? How's things? Things are good.
Yeah, everything's good.
How's the brew? How did you have to adjust? Obviously, we were gonna have a big party, a big launch party, and now with the COVID, you have to adjust a little bit, right? So how did you have to adjust for that?
Yeah, and yes, Crafted turned 5 in May, so 5 years that we had that shop open. So we had this big like anniversary party that we had planned that I had some people that were going to help me organize it, and it was going to be anniversary party, also like a launch party for Flying Fox.
Beautiful. Yeah.
But we weren't advertising it that much because we weren't sure if the beer would be ready for that date.
Okay.
But yeah, it sucks, man. We had like 3 DJs that were booked, and we were just gonna have like a big outdoor party, and like all of the food vendors, because every Friday we do food pop-ups. Well, not right now, obviously, but every Friday we do food pop-ups. So like all these people that have done food pop-ups for us, like from Texas Tom to Karen, the Venezuelan lady that she does really good at it.
I love that. I love her food, man. Delicious.
Yeah, it's like all these people that have worked with us since the beginning. We had them booked. We had some new vendors, but we had like 5 food vendors that were gonna show up.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we had to obviously cancel that through the COVID. But it's not. We'll see. Maybe if things go back to normal and I don't know, maybe August or September, we could still do it. But we'll see.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously affected everybody's business, right? So most of the people that I know, the expats that I know, they went back home to take their holiday, to get their vaccine shots and stuff. And you decided to stay, right?
Yeah.
It
seemed like there was a kind of a
wave.
last minute exodus. Yeah, for sure. Because things in the States right now are actually pretty good, is what it seems like, talking to some of my family members. But my wife as well, so, like last minute she booked tickets and she left with the baby. So it was a rough ride for her to go alone with a 7-month-old, but she got her shot basically the next day that she was there. I don't blame them. There's a lot of people that we know work at the school or have family that go to the school, so it makes sense. But for me, it was a tough call. But being that Flying Fox, like the first batch was just released like a day before, I think it would have just been irresponsible of me to kind of just leave Crafted and leave Flying Fox for like a month and a half and hope that we can come back without having any issues. So it was a tough call, but I think still it's the right thing to do for us. It was tough.
I think it's got to be really tough for you to, obviously when you have a baby, your life changes dramatically, right? And so how old's your baby now, man? How's little man now? How old?
He's
half a year?
7 months old.
7 months? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, my mom got to meet him yesterday for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty cool.
Did somebody record it for you or something? Yeah.
Several pictures. Lori took several pictures of that moment, so it's pretty sweet.
That's pretty amazing. It's crazy, the COVID times right now where your mom's just meeting the baby now and stuff. It's weird times we're in right now, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I think it was, a smart decision to stick around and really start pushing the beer, because we don't know how long COVID is going to be out here. I think Taiwan's doing pretty well, right? I think it's not going so bad over here. Definitely most of the expats that left, our our beer sales are kind of like,
Yeah.
but one of the smart things that happened was you came up with the idea for the one-way growler, right? Which is
Right.
has been amazing. So how did you come up with this kind of it's kind of a genius idea? Because the traditional growler, obviously they're cooler and they're probably better, but they're expensive, right? Like
Right.
they're kind of heavy duty stainless steel, and we had our own custom made. You had your own custom made, but I also do Jim and Dad's ones, but they're quite big, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of people are like, oh, send me the measurements. I might have to take a rack out of my fridge, and so it's crazy. But your 1 liter one-way growler has been a hit out here, and I'm guessing there's going to be quite a few copycats coming up in the next couple of weeks. How did you come up with this idea for the one-way growler? It's genius, really.
Yeah, I was chatting with Lori, my wife, and I was like, so the beer is ready. We're gonna get it delivered, and it's like it's only kegs. So like the first question that I got is like, do you have bottles? So like, no, we didn't bottle any of it. It's just kegs. So I was like, this beer's just gonna get stuck. And I was just like chatting with some customers. Some customers were like, well, are you gonna be open for like takeout? Can I bring my own growler? Like, yeah, of course, but very few customers have that. And
Exactly.
then there was this one customer that came in with it looked like a milk jug,
Okay.
and but it still had like a screw top on it. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, I wonder if
Bing.
the
Gotcha.
industry would be okay with this. So I got my employee that she did an amazing job. She found this company, a local company that does like all these plastic containers. So we found this one that we thought was a good size. It was a good price. Um, and I chatted with like a couple of home brewers, a couple of people in the industry, and I was like, I was a little nervous because I thought for sure people were gonna make fun of me. I was like, look at this guy, he's selling beer and milk milk gallon jugs, but so far it's been really good. Like people have bought it, like they don't really care. I've seen some people already like selling beer in bags and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
very
Jim and
doing.
Dad's. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
I'm
it.
not sure if he's doing it or if it was just a marketing thing, but I know there's definitely another like beer bar that's doing it. Um, but during COVID times, during this times, a lot of people want to stay home. They don't want to go out. So I think they're just happy that they can get fresh draft.
Yeah, I think so, and I think obviously it was a smart move to do kegs, right? Because for me, probably the same as you, the draft beer sells. Oh, maybe not you. You've got like friggin' 1,000 bottles, but for us,
Yeah.
our bottle sales are almost nothing. Like they're
Hmm.
really for total beer sales. I would be surprised if it's 5%. Because we've got
Right.
7 taps here, and our draft beer is always moving. So whenever people, they come in, they'll go through, they'll pick one that they like. Maybe they'll sip them all. And if they look at the bottles, I mean, the bottles are pretty. I mean, our bottle selection is pretty. It's not great, but the reason is because everyone drinks draft here. But I mean, in a
Right.
situation like this, obviously now people are doing bottles, so we were able to get some bottles from Red Point, and those are still they're moving okay. But I think the thing that's moving the most is your one-way growler, because I think on the weekend we did one keg pretty quick in a day and a half. We did one of your kegs,
Yeah.
and I'm predicting weekends will always look like that, even though right now weekdays and weekends are kind of the same. So
Hmm.
our beer sales and all that has been really bad, but far, head and shoulders above everybody else has been your one-way growler idea, which is amazing. And my guess is most of the other guys are going to start to look into that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I've already had a couple people there, and then she asked me about them. So, yeah, I think there's definitely a lot more people are going to be doing it. But for what we're doing is like for us, like people that have been purchasing our beer, we've been giving them the containers as well. It's like, look, you can try this, see if it works out. So like we did that with so right now the people that sell Flying Foxes, Crafted,
Yeah.
obviously you, Eddie's,
Yeah, baby. Let's
a
go.
place called Learn Bar that's downtown. It's
Okay.
pretty cool. So I gave them some containers as well. And today, Park Life, Mark's bar, he ordered a keg and I gave him some
Okay.
containers as well. So like they're free. They don't cost that much. So I just gave them to you guys for free. It's like, look, maybe this is a way that you guys can increase sales, and see how it goes. But yeah, I think that for sure a lot more people are going to start doing that for sure.
Shout out to Park Life, Mark. Mark is, I've known Mark from Mark was my original like secret beer industry guy. He introduced me to Red Point when there was no craft beer. He sent Red Point over with some samples, probably I would say maybe 6 or 7 years ago. There was nothing going on. He sent them over, and it was cool. So Mark was one of my original behind the scene craft beer guys, because sometimes you get really busy and you don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden one of your buddies is like, local beer, and I said, hey, I love local. So yeah, so Mark's a fantastic guy as well. So I'm glad to see to hear he's on board.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, to be honest, this has been really good, the one-way growlers. And yeah, we've had people come in, fill up their own growlers as well with your beer, man. It's good. I'm curious, I probably know the answer, but maybe most people don't know. Why would you start with, out of all the beer styles, why would you start with like a New England style hazy IPA?
Right. Well, just to keep it simple, we were just following the trends. Basically, so how this beer became about, it was 2 years ago. So we used to have two shops.
Yes.
So yeah, Crafted is still open, and we had another one near the Sogo area in Jishan Station.
Yeah.
And
that place was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And so unfortunately, it didn't work out. We closed it after a year. But when we had that shop open, we had televisions, and we used to show like movies. We had movie nights. We would show TV shows as well. And one of the TV shows that we showed that was pretty successful was an animated show called Rick and Morty, which is very adult. It's really funny. It's very meta. And so a lot of people came to watch it. And Jack from 55th Street, the brewer and the owner of 55th Street, he sent me a message, and he's also a big fan of Rick and Morty. And he's like, hey, would you be interested in like making a beer together for the marathon that you're gonna show, next month or whatever? And I was like, yeah, it's a great idea. And then so we just sat down and chatted about what kind of beer we wanted to make. And at that point, the Sierra Nevada hazy little things had just come out, had just arrived in Taiwan, and it was selling like crazy. So I basically said, I told Jack, let's make a version of this, but hazier and hoppier, with a little bit more of a piney aftertaste. And yeah, he made it happen. We actually named it after a Rick and Morty saying. So when Rick, one of the characters, when he's really drunk, which in the show he's always drunk.
Okay, beautiful.
Like one of his catchphrases is "Wubba lubba dub dub," which is apparently, it's kind of a really dark meaning to it at the end, but it's kind of like his catchphrase, like, "Hey, I'm getting dry, wubba lubba dub," like I don't care kind of thing. So we called it the Wubba lubba dub dub, and so we had it. We only did 6 kegs, so we had it at both shops, and it just flew. Like it was really, really popular. A lot of people came back and they were like, "Do you have that beer? We're like, are you gonna have it again?" We're like, "Yeah, we'll probably have it again." So we made 2 different versions of it, and when the idea came to actually start our own like contract brewing, it was like, it's obviously we have to do this one because people already know it. People really liked it. So when people found out that we were going to start our own beer company, they were like, "What kind of beer are you going to make?" I was like, "Oh yeah, you remember this one that we had? That was the Wubba Lubba Dubs come back." I'm like, "Yeah, we can't name it that because
what about the name?
Yeah, we can't get, we don't want to get sued by the creators of Rick and Morty." But so we came up with the name for the company, and then the name for the beer eventually came.
Shout out again to Jack. I mean, Jack's an amazing guy. I love Jack's beers and stuff like that. And your beer has been really nice. I actually did something similar with Jack when we opened this restaurant, because it was
Eddy's, right?
Exactly. We did an amber lager, right? We called it Dos Eddy's. And one of the funniest thing was that summer there was a lot of sort of American sort of tourists coming through Taiwan. and they would come in and they're like, oh, Mexican restaurant, you know, so they'd come in and they'd talk to my staff and they'd be like, oh, we'll have 2 pints of Dos Equis, right? And my staff has no idea what Dos Equis is, right? Because, you know, they're Taiwanese and that's a really like Mexican and American thing. So they'd be like, oh, they must mean Dos Equis, right? And then you just pour them 2 pints of Dos Equis, right? And the people would be like, oh, wow, this is great. Yeah, you know, Dos Equis on draft in Taiwan. This is great. And they were drinking and they were just, it was such a miscommunication. And I'm on the side watching my staff thinking, oh, he must have meant Dos Equis. And they're thinking, yeah, Dos Equis, right? So I'm sitting there watching this like huge miscommunication. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to allow that, you know? And we just, it was pretty funny. It was funny. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a good idea to do that. And I think Jack's good stuff. Talking about the hazy IPA, for us personally, that's probably our best selling style. I don't know about you guys, but for us, it's our best selling style. I also think it was, I don't know, say smart, but it's tough. I mean, with the Rick and Morty, I mean, I actually had a keg of that stuff here, I believe, and I was selling it. And, or I might have a keg or bottles, but I remember, and we had to write, I believe, hazy IPA or something, because if we wrote, I don't even know what it, rub-a-dub-dub, whatever it was, I mean, people would just be like, what the hell? Imagine a Taiwanese customer coming in and being like, looking at that, thinking like, what? So for us, one of the things we have to do is we have to write the style, because there's sometimes where, you know, you get a really cool name, which is awesome. But I mean, if you write the actual original name on the chalkboard for us, we get locals coming in and they're just like, what did we have? Like Dark of the Moon and stuff like that. It's just like, people are like, wow. So I think the name is important. And I think the inside joke is really cool. But I like your branding. I like the Flying Fox. I think it's going to go well, man. And I think it was a good idea that you stayed out here, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it works out.
Yeah. So we obviously crafted Eddy's Cantina. You said Park Life, and what was the other one? Sorry.
Learn Bar.
Okay, good. So Learn Bar. Okay, so all these guys are selling, and we're all promoting together. So let's talk a little bit about Foxy Fridays. It's Friday today. Foxy Fridays. Tell us a little bit about Foxy Fridays.
So the Foxy Fridays was just something that I had in mind pre-COVID. It's like, well, you know, it goes with the name, it rhymes.
Beautiful, yeah.
And it was like, okay, so on Fridays, our promotional beer is going to be the Flying Fox, whatever we have on draft. So that was going to be, you know, the happy hour, if you will, for the whole Friday. So then with the growlers and everything, I was like, well, maybe we can still do it with the growlers. So on Fridays, people can buy the growlers for a little bit of a promotional price.
Beautiful. And you guys are delivering, I think, on Fridays, right? Is that what I remember correctly?
We're doing it today. Yeah.
Okay.
Friday, right? So
today's Friday.
Today. Yeah. But we're not sure if it was something that will continue. But I guess it depends how much, you know, how many orders we get in. But we deliver. We open for takeout on delivery on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Okay.
But for Fridays, if it goes well today, yeah, we'll probably do it again. But I think the Foxy Friday is just something that other bars can use. I mean, they don't have to, but yeah, like we'll see how today goes.
I think for us as well, we're doing the Foxy Fridays, and I think it's going to do well, because Fridays are always a tough one. Sometimes they're really busy. I mean, not including the whole COVID thing. Everything's kind of just like the same every day. Saturday's the same as Monday, but usually Fridays for us, sometimes they're packed, and sometimes they're just like a Tuesday. So I think the Foxy Friday is going to be something good, man, in the future. We're definitely on board. You know, we love you. So I was talking about Mark being my sort of behind the scenes guy, but after Mark, I met you, and you are the guy that I talk to whenever I need something nice, like a nice dark beer or something like that. And yeah, I appreciate that. So anything we can do to help, I think the whole point is we all help each other. And yeah, I've been driving around collecting growlers, coming back, giving them a little chill, filling them up, dropping them off. it's kind of been a crazy month or so, or however long it's been.
Yeah.
Seems like forever.
Yeah. It feels like a year now.
It feels like a year. Imagine actually being back home in Canada or the States, and it actually being like a year. That's crazy, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. But no, yeah, you're right. And yeah, another shout out to Mark, because he's been great. Like I remember when Red Point, like the samples of Red Point came to your the little restaurant that you had.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Hey, Raul, come and try this." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, somebody's making an IPA in Taiwan. This is amazing."
Yeah.
So we were really excited about that. But Mark, before I opened Crafted, I reached out to several people. Obviously, we talked about like what your experience was as
Of
a
course.
foreign entrepreneur being here in Taiwan, and like your experience opening the restaurant, all that kind of stuff. And Mark was the other person that I talked to, and I think it was at Beer Geek, and I just a place that I guess he still owns, or he still owns, I'm not sure, but
I'm not sure. Yeah.
so I went in and chatted with him. He was at the bar, and he was like, we were both drinking, and I was like, I have this idea of opening this craft beer bottle shop. What do you think? And he just gave me really, really good advice. So yeah, Mark's a great guy.
How was what gave you the idea? Let's go a little bit further back. So you had the idea, you're in Taiwan. You figured, hey, I remember the website. You did my website way back when. And I thought we became pretty good friends. And then you came to me and you're like, I want to do this idea. I'm going to do it. You opened up Maji Square. We looked at different locations, but at that time, everybody was saying Maji Square, it's not very good. And then, fast forward 2 years later, and I think you're doing quite well over there. And everybody's like, oh, you're lucky now. You're in Maji. You're lucky. So what gave you the idea to choose Maji Square out of all the places that you could decide to open?
Oh man, like
It's way back.
yeah, I'm trying to remember. So I had been to Maji Square only a couple of times.
Okay.
And Maji Square is basically famous for two places. One is Triangle, the nightclub.
Yeah.
And the other one is Three Lions, so the British pub. So I had gone to Three Lions a couple of times, and I just remember like looking around, and it was a big, open, beautiful area that's like 300 people sitting outside. And I was just looking at the amount of people, and I was like, this is crazy. There's so many people here. So I just thought that the foot traffic was going to be good enough for the business to open there. But yeah, you're right. Before, we signed the contract, I chatted with some other people, and they're like, you're going to open there? No, I have a friend there that opened a coffee shop. They closed within 6 months. Or somebody else, it was like, oh, that place is terrible. Don't open there. And we went ahead and signed the contract. I met the owner. The owner was actually really, really nice. Is really nice. And the manager then, Lee, he also gave me some really good advice. And they were like, look, maybe there's potential here for a beer shop, but it was so new. Like, because in Maji Square, it's basically like an outdoor mall.
Yeah,
so
I love
they
that.
do rent like these locations, but they're also like very picky what opens there.
Okay.
So me explaining to them, it's a beer shop. It's like, so you're gonna sell just beer? Like, yeah. So just beer, like no cocktails, nor food. I mean, no, just beer.
Okay.
So it took them a little bit to kind of come around, but 5 years now. We've been lucky. Obviously, we've had some bad months, but we've had some really good months as well. So, but no, Maji Square has been really good to us for sure.
I think obviously any business, you're going to have good months and bad months, and then obviously you expanded to a second location, and now you're back to the one location. I did the same thing. I did 2 locations twice, and we're also back to one location. Right now, I'm happy that it's just one. This year we actually had a really good year. I mean, up until midway through last month. Last year was great. I mean, Taiwan's been really good. The whole entrepreneurial journey is it's been crazy. It's been a long time for me. And I've been here almost 20 years, and I've been doing this for maybe 14. And it's been pretty awesome. I mean, I think it's kind of like a little bump in the road. I mean, like if it's this like the States where it's going to be 6 months or a year, that's going to be tough because, you know, what we've done is we made the decision quite a while ago where my wife and I, we went all in. So this is pretty much our everything. We've recently diversified a little bit, but it's still like 95% of our income is from here. So that has been great up until about 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
maybe you can tell a little bit about maybe how your life has changed since you started Crafted, because had you been an entrepreneur before you started Crafted? Like maybe
No,
back.
it's
Yeah.
no, it was first time, but I knew like I come like basically everybody in my family is like a small business owner. So
Oh,
either
really?
they're in the construction or um like when my brother-in-law is a mechanic, but he owns his own shop. So yeah, so it's just something that I've always had in the back of my of my mind. I was like, eventually one day I'm gonna do something, but I didn't really know what it was gonna be.
Okay.
Um, but moving here to Taiwan, I moved here because my wife got a job working at TAS, and we were just dating back then. We're married now, but um, moving here, I just was not happy with anything that I found. Like basically, if you're a foreigner in Taiwan, um, you either get really lucky and you get a job at a really good school,
Yeah.
or you have some sort of engineering degree that people hire you from the States and then bring you in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but other than that, you basically work at a bushiban, which a lot of times don't treat their employees right, or they don't pay that well, or the hours are crazy. Um, so I was like tutoring some kids, and I was working at as a substitute teacher, and I was just like, man, this is just not for me. And um, it took a while to figure out what we're gonna do, but then this came up, and craft beer has been a hobby of mine for since like 2005, 2007, something like that. That's
Okay.
when I started like home brewing,
Oh,
which I was
nice.
terrible at, by the way. It took a while to get it,
It's tough, they
but
say. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but it was, yeah, it's been a long time. So like moving here, um, the very first place I actually had dinner at the very first day that I was here was at your place.
You
So it's
remember
like I
you
felt,
came,
yeah, I was
you
like,
had a
you know,
burrito,
it's
right? I remember.
intimidating. Yeah, it was like it was intimidating, and you know, moving to a country where like you don't speak the language, and
Yeah.
and my wife was like, look, there's a Mexican restaurant right there, and I was like, oh, cool. So I was like, I'm gonna go have dinner there, and I chatted with you, like you were just there, and like came over and we started chatting, and I remember like asking you, I was like, so is there no like craft beer in Taiwan? And you were like, what is that? I was like, what's, so I remember like I had this conversation with you about it, and he's like, no, I don't think so. And then I think back then the only thing that was available was what was the
Anchor
name of it?
Steam. Anchor Steam,
Yes,
right?
Anchor
Yeah.
Steam was the
That was
only
Jim
thing.
Jim Boyle. Shout out to those guys, man. Good
Yeah,
folks.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my
Um,
introduction. That was my introduction. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But but yeah, and so then and then Rent Point came along, and then
Hmm.
23 Brewery came along, and then I started seeing like all these importers coming in. And really the people that really kind of changed the whole industry was the Taihu guys.
Okay.
I remember when they opened their first like tap room.
That place is
Um,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, like it was it's not opening, well, they reopened it in a different location, but
Mhm.
just going to their location and how beautiful the bar it was, and it was just like 15 beers on tap, and they had
Yeah.
imported all this like
Yeah.
American stuff. They had like Ballast Point and all that stuff, and I was like, well, like it was a game changing moment for the industry. So
Yeah.
we I had, as soon as that happened, I told my wife, I'm like, I think there's a market for like a small beer shop to be available here. So yeah, we ran with the idea. We like it took like a year planning,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
we eventually made it happen. But yeah, that's how it came along. We basically just kind of waited and saw the industry growing, and it was like, okay, I think this is now's the time for like a small craft beer shop to open somewhere.
I think it's good. And yeah, shout out again to the Taihu guys, because they made it like cool, right? Like craft beer is usually like a really niche thing, right? And then when Taihu came out and they were building these beautiful bars and stuff, it opened people's eyes to the fact that, hey, this can be very cool. You know, there's other places as well, but I also agree that Taihu has been a big game changer. You know, I think the thing about them is, you know, they break all the rules. Like their place in like the Xinyi area, can't remember what it's called. I did a pop up there, but it's beautiful. Anyway, it's that outdoor place where it's all stand up, right? It's beautiful, that place. So for me, in my experience, when you do all high tables and stand up and stuff, the locals don't really like it. And like I've done just 15 years of research, but Taihu, it's all out, you know, it's outside, we stand up only. It's you know, it's high tables and it's packed, right? So it's awesome how Taihu came in and they started making some cool moves, man. So I actually went to their place in Taichung. This is a while ago, and that place is beautiful as well, man. So shout out to those guys for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Like in theory, that place, that outdoor place, like in theory, it shouldn't work, right?
Yeah,
Because it's basically it's a hole in a wall. There's like no seats, no air conditioning. It's, you know, Taiwan is like, it's hot as hell out here.
Yeah,
And it's
sure.
just, they just kill it. They just kill it.
Yeah.
Like I remember, and now there's a place across from them that's called is it not, what was it called? Draftland, the local cocktails on tap.
Okay. That's
and
cool.
I walked by one day and they had like a DJ outside, and it was like Taihu and Draftland, which I think they own as well.
Okay.
And it was like a freaking concert. It was like it felt like there was like 5,000 people out there. I don't know how many. You could barely walk. That's how crowded it was. But everybody had a cocktail or a beer on hand. It was like, yeah, these guys, I don't know. Everything they do is like very well done, and they kill it.
Yeah, those guys, they brand it up really nice. They make really good, like the whole. We started doing growlers, and then they came out with the crowler. And you look at their equipment for that, and I'm like, holy crap! You know, that's like like next level stuff, man. So what they're doing, it's awesome for the industry. And I think, yeah, every time I go to Xinyi, I'll always swing by that place. And if we're walking around, obviously not during COVID times, but we're walking around, I'll always grab a beer and we'll walk around and we'll do our thing there, because yeah, it's nice to have those guys around doing cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and they've been a great supporter of us from like day one opening Crafted. They're still one of the biggest importers. So just like chatting with them, and they're just like, the owners are great. The people that work there are great. I was like, what do you need? Is there anything that you need us need help with? Like when we opened the second shop, they helped us you know, build the draft system, and
that thing's nice.
Gorgeous. Yeah. Gorgeous. It's just in storage. Eventually it'll come back. It will make a comeback.
Make it happen soon. Yeah.
Maybe a Flying Fox tap room or something.
Hey, how cool would that be? Yeah.
But the Taihu guys are really, really nice guys. They've been great.
So obviously you still have all the equipment in storage. You want to do another tap room eventually, right?
Eventually.
Yeah. Obviously we all got to wait till this whole thing, you know, everyone's vaccinated or whatever. I mean, a lot of people are pro-vax, anti-vax. I mean, I don't really want to talk too much about that, but I think in Taiwan, they will, I think we'll get over it really quick. I mean, as quick as can be, because everyone masks up, no more dine in. I mean, everybody's pretty safe. The numbers are actually dipping, becoming lower. The Miaoli cluster is a little bit, you know, that's its own thing, but I think Taipei it's getting better. But I think this weekend is key. You know, we have the dragon boat races, and I read, you know, back and forth that they're canceled, and then I read, you know, people still want to go because they're sick of being home. But if everybody goes and it's like this massive festival thing again, I think that, you know, the numbers are going to spike. I mean, I obviously hope they don't. I hope we can get back to normal in July. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic. But what do you think about this whole setup, man? This whole COVID thing?
I'm pretty optimistic, honestly. Compared to what other countries were, like, say, like in the States, when it happened, like there wasn't even tests. They didn't know how to test it. and then there was like these false positive tests and like all this misinformation about how deadly it was or it wasn't, and like people refusing to wear masks. And like here, pretty much almost everybody's masked up. They actually start like staring you down if you're not wearing a mask.
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
It's intimidating, um, but no, I feel good about it. Like there's obviously tests, the vaccines. We have almost 2 million vaccines that came in. So people are already like all the doctors, first responders are getting vaccinated right now. And I think we only have, only like 11,000 people that have it, which in the grand scheme of things is not really that many. So if we can get those people vaccinated, all the first responders, and like get a good portion of the population that's over 60 vaccinated, I think the numbers should drop down dramatically. And if we can get to the point that if we can just go back to level 2, that's just it's a huge difference between level 2 and level 3. So if we can just go back to level 2, and we'll probably stay in level 2 for the rest of the year, but I'm hoping maybe August we'll go back to like level 2 once the numbers start coming down. But we still got to be cautious. I think like 3 beer shops already announced that they're closing. So the restaurant industry, food industry they're gonna be hurting if they're not careful. But there's tough decisions I think that people need to make. Like I was chatting with you know the guys from Craft House? They own the pizza shop.
I've heard of them many times. I heard amazing things about them, about their food, but I have not met them personally. No. What did they say? How are they doing?
No, so they're doing okay. You know, they're trying to figure out how to make sales during this time as well. But they'll start selling Flying Fox as well. But I was chatting with Duncan, one of the owners, and he went from basically letting go of all of the part-timers. Some of the chefs, their hours got cut and stuff. So it's like tough decisions that they need to make. But it's better to do it now, so then when things go back to normal, you can rehire them. Because if you're just paying all this salary for all of your full-timers and not letting anybody go, like if this lasts more than 3 months, everybody's you're gonna be screwed. Like that's a lot of money. Like rent is one thing, but at the end you pay more money in salaries than you do in rent.
Way more. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's some tough decisions, but Taiwan's been acting pretty fast. Like they already passed the first stimulus, which we don't really qualify for any of it, but it's fine. But like one of my part-timers, she qualified for it. Like, so she got some stimulus money from the government because her hours got cut. So it's nice for them. That way she doesn't leave me and go tries to go find some more work. Sure. It helps out for sure.
Yeah. So for us,
overall pretty positive.
No, that I think I think it's been good. Again, I think the government stimulus thing, it's hard to find info, really. I mean, you hear, foreigners don't apply. Oh, foreigners apply. And we actually have probably half our staff are foreign. So it's it's kind of a weird time where we've cut a lot of hours for the part-time. Our full-time, we only have a few. So we're doing okay, but I'd say we're down probably 50%, 60 to 40% in there. Weekends are more because Saturdays people are coming out for margaritas and pitchers and beers and food. So that's gone, right? So now we're strictly on to go. Our online ordering system has helped a lot. That's been lucky. Obviously Uber Eats and that we still do lots of that. But yeah, I think we're okay-ish as long as it doesn't go 3, 4, 5 months, because then if it does that, then it's going to be tough for us. But we're hustling, like we're driving around, delivering, we're pushing. So we have some plans to make it better, but it's definitely tough because it's really hard to find good staff, right? Yes. You can attest to that, right? Like it's hard to find that. And then you don't want to just be like, you cut everybody out, but it's kind of like, it's tough. It's a tough thing to do. And it looks like, I don't think we're going to qualify for any stimulus stuff business wise. So it's a tough spot, but I think if we can hold out for a while, I think we'll be okay. But I definitely know that there are restaurants that are closing already. And I mean, this kind of business is crazy. Everybody comes in on a Saturday night and they see you're packed and they see margaritas and beers and pitchers all on all the tables. And they think, oh, this guy's making huge money. But
Yeah.
the overhead's massive, right? I mean, it's crazy. Restaurants are pretty tough. So yeah, I do know Shinju, a couple of friends that have that places out there. They're going to be, I think they're done already. And it's just you're always walking a fine line. It's kind of like, you got the dice and it's just like, let it ride, let it ride. You're making some money. You're like, you got to put that back in. You got to renovate this little corner. You got to do this and that. And because Taiwan was doing so good last year, so well, I think it sucks to let it have slipped like while we were so close to the end. I mean, I think vaccines and all that will be, I would guess there'll be enough vaccines for at least half the population, maybe July. So, it kind of sucks that it slipped in like that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel it's doable. I mean, I think we can you gotta hustle. So, it feels weird going back to like day one after doing this for like 14 years. And then, you're back to there's no dine-in. So all of a sudden, you're delivering, you're doing whatever you got to do, and you're living purely off, pick up to go, deliveries. So it's a crazy experience, man. But in a weird way, it's a little bit motivating to be like, okay, I've got a little complacent sometime and I've been chilling. So now I got to get back in there and fix all the issues. But it's also like you're working all day, then you come back and you punch out, you get home and you're looking at your numbers and you're like, wow, this is bad. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, this sucks, because you're putting in 2-3 times the amount of the work, and then you're looking at your numbers and they're like half, and you're just like, wow, it's kind of crazy. So hopefully it's not going to go that much longer. But I think we can hold out for a little while. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I think the same
Yeah.
for most people. But yeah, I'm hoping August. I think August we'll go back to normal. So it's a month and a half of us basically just hustling, making deliveries and making
Yeah.
it happen.
But one of the cool things is the online thing that we made. That's been doing really well. Obviously, it doesn't replace a full restaurant income, but that is, I would say, about 90% finished. I mean, we've been rolling with it anyway, but there's still little bugs and tweaks that we need to make. But once that's going, I actually, and the restaurants opened up, so it's I think it'll be like, we'll have the 50% from that, and then the restaurant. I think it'll be good in the end. It's just we got to be really stingy and just not buy anything right now, and you just kind of like chilling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that was funny. I was chatting with Caleb, our boy Caleb.
Yeah, he's a great guy,
he's
man.
making deliveries for us, and
Uber Eats Foreigner. Shout out to him.
Yeah, Instagram Uber Eats Foreigner.
Uber Eats Foreigner. Yeah.
So I've been using him for some of the marketing material for Blind Box.
Yeah, he's
like
a good looking fella.
So it's pretty funny. But I was chatting with him, and I think like after all of this is done, I think it's something that like the deliveries have been okay, but it's like even when things go back to normal, I think we're just gonna keep doing deliveries. Like, why wouldn't we do it? Now that we figured out a system of how to communicate with the customer in an easier way, so and getting deliveries done. And so yeah, I think like that's basically it's just here to stay. So like just delivering craft beer to straight to the house, it's just staying. So I think like for you, like having that online store, I think I can already see a couple of scooters and parked in front of your restaurant where you're gonna do your own deliveries and stuff instead of using Uber Eats. Like it's just something that people evolve according to the conditions, and then they just stuff that just kind of stays.
I think for us, we've always planned that, but we never actually. So that system, we built it last year, and then it was about 95% done. And then I thought, okay, in the summer, when the expats leave and it starts to dip, we'll finish it slowly. But obviously, kind of shit hit the fan. And I messaged my my developer and I said, look, we're about 95% done, right? And he said, yeah. I said, how long is it going to take you to finish it and get it ready for like, let's go? And he said 3 days. I said, okay, let's go, get it done. And we've been pushing it, and it's been pretty good, man. So most people know that if they order directly from us, it helps us more, right? As opposed to Uber Eats and stuff like that. They shout out to them. They've been good. They've been helping us out for sure. But yeah, if you order directly, it'll be good. One of the main things I wanted to do with that actually is people ask me, oh, it's really nice. It's really nice. What platform is it built on? Like Shopify or WordPress or whatever. I actually told them that I had this thing custom built from scratch. And the reason I did that was because it's duplicatable. So once it's 100% done, I'll be offering this system to other restaurants and stuff like that. So I think it'll be pretty good. I mean, obviously right now I want to work out all the kinks, but when that's done, I'll add that and I'll talk to other places because I think that most places need to have something like this, especially right now. And yeah, that was the original idea. We just, sometimes you get busy and you just think, oh, things are pretty good. I don't need to finish that.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. So far there's that. And also with this whole COVID thing, we've come up with different ideas for videos and stuff like that. And we were actually talking about a video, we want to do something maybe soon. I don't know. We'll see. So you had some ideas for things you wanted to do, things that maybe you think that we should do, like some food sort of videos. Maybe we can talk for a few minutes about what you thought about that.
Yeah, so I basically read this article about what some of the like restaurant industry, some of the people in the industry, what they did during COVID times, like what they did to adjust and all that kind of stuff. And number one was figuring out how to get the food to customers directly, sure. Taking payment directly without having to have like a hand-on-hand cash exchange. Yeah. But one of the people that they were quoting on the article was saying that a lot of times you just have to go back to basics and actually talk about what you make. So he basically said that he was looking at his Instagram and then realized that he was talking mostly about like football and all these other events that he was making, but like didn't really talk about his food that much.
That sounds familiar.
So he was like, I just basically went back and started taking these really nice pictures of my food and started posting them, and people were like, I didn't know you made that. I don't know, when did this come out? This is a new menu. And I was like, no, it's a menu item that we've always had. So yeah, like I think something like that for you would be great. Like if you could like I feel like your wings are really good. So if you can like promote like the different flavors and like really nice pictures, I think that would be pretty cool. Because I feel like a lot of times, especially, I mean, I'm like a little bit like that. And I think most people are as well, that sometimes we're a little bit shy and we go back to what we're used to. So maybe
yeah, sure, of course,
like we look at a menu that has like 4 pages and it's like, well, I'm just gonna have this because I already had it before and it's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of trying like new menu items. So I think there's like a visual aid that said like, look, we made this new plate, you should try it out. It would entice people to order more, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And the story you were just saying, it's definitely, familiar, because for me too, like I said, I'm a big UFC fan, and we're showing the UFCs, and that's what I'm posting about. I'm posting about, podcasts and UFC and all that stuff. And I noticed I don't actually post as much about the food as well, because we've been doing like the enchiladas, we've been doing the enchiladas for like 14 years. So I probably haven't posted a picture of the enchiladas in I don't even know how long, man. So yeah, I definitely need to go back and do that. And some things that we had on the menu before that are not, but are super easy to make when people ask, like sopes, right? I mean, we had the sopes on the menu for a while, and we weren't huge sellers. But for me, they're one of my favorite dishes. And so I have them all the time. So it's not hard for me to snap a photo and be like, hey, ask for the sopes or whatever, secret menu. So mm-hmm. I agree with that, man. And it definitely makes me think more, because we talked about that. And I think it makes sense for sure.
Yeah. And it's something that I was just going through my Instagram as well. And I was like, Crafted really doesn't talk much about anything other than like events that we're doing, or like who's the musician that's going to come and play. And it's like,
Yeah.
we get like last week we got a bunch of new beers. It's like, maybe I should like take a picture of this beer and like in detail explain what it is.
Yeah.
And like basically just kind of go back to basics, and help people introduce these new stuff that came out. Because that's basically what we're selling now. It's the beer. It's like we're not selling any experience right now. There are no food vendors, there are no musicians, there are no TV shows or anything that we can do. So so it's something that we're gonna try and do as well, just kind of go back to the basics.
Yeah, I think it's smart, man. I think a lot of places will disappear, but I think a lot of places will knuckle up, and they'll get through it. Obviously, the sooner this ends, the better for everybody. But I think I'm imagining the places that will stay. I know everybody's struggling, but for us, we've been in a situation before where we were new. It's payday. Obviously, this is a weird situation, but it'd be new, it'd be payday. There's not enough money to pay the rent and the staff. So what do we have to do? We'd have to go borrow. I mean, luckily we're not in that situation anymore. But I mean, we've gone through some hard times in the beginning, and now I think with Facebook and with the sort of the team and the customers and stuff that we built. So I think it's good to definitely build up the clientele, and I think to keep in touch with them. And I think a lot of people have supported us. Yeah, even if maybe they didn't want to order, Mexican this night, they're like, we want to make sure that Eddy's Canteen is going to be there in 2 months. So they order up, and I think it's pretty cool, man. I think people are stepping up, and they're doing a good job. One of the cool things I'm looking forward to is it's still way off, but when all the expats come back, then the beer sales are going to go back up, I think, because that's just how it works out. But I think it's tough, but I think it's going to be doable. Unless it's a year is going to be tough. But if it's a few months, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So do you have anything you want to add, man, before we call it? I think you're an entrepreneur. You came out here, you come from entrepreneurial family, got that Mexican entrepreneur blood in. For me, none of my family were entrepreneurs, but my grandpa was a tailor. So he was kind of the only entrepreneur that was in my family. And I think it's cool. I think, I hate to say, but we're Mexicans are like, let's go, let's get it done. It's hard work, but we're going to do it. But do you have any sort of advice for anybody who's thinking about maybe starting up their own business?
Well, definitely wait until COVID ends.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess whatever they decide to do, I guess make sure that you pick something in the very like a niche, and then like stick with it.
Okay.
So if you're want to open a restaurant, if it's gonna be Italian food, just do Italian food.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the menu being 40 pages long. Just make 10 menu items and doing really, really well. The same with like the bar industry. So like whatever you pick, just pick a niche, do it well. The customers will come, and just make sure that you do promoting, get good people. If you're not good at social media, maybe get someone that hire someone that is. But yeah, basically save money, make sure you have enough money to pay rent for a year, keep that stashed away. Because the first year is, as you know, it's always the toughest.
It's tough for sure.
So yeah, just be frugal in the beginning, save some money, keep some money stashed to the side, and if your product is good, if your service is good, everything should work out.
Beautiful. I love it, man. Thank you for doing this, man. Once things open up again, we'll do it proper. We'll come over and we'll do food and beers and wings and all that stuff. Yeah, man. Okay. So do you have anything you want to add before we cut it, or what do you think? You good?
Yeah, basically just so Flying Fox, new brewery, craft brew brand in Taiwan. It's available at Eddy's, at Park-Life. Will be tapped today, actually, Friday. Obviously crafted, a place called Learn Bar. And there's a couple more spots that will probably carry next week. So you can just follow us on social media, Flying Fox Brewery, either Instagram or Facebook. Yep. And we'll keep you guys updated there.
I actually have links for Crafted and Flying Fox in the description below. So just go down, click on those. Make sure you follow Raul on social media, because he's doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you for doing the show, brother. And keep in touch. I'll probably see you later for a beer or something, hopefully.
All right, sounds good.
All right, brother. Take care, man. See ya. Take care, guys.
See you, man. Bye.
Whew. All right, man.